end of that process, when they decide, well, both or sometimes just one, but they decide, or one decides, listen, this is not working anymore. And we deal with issues of property settlement, custody, access, maintenance. And you know what I can attest to, along with all of my colleagues? When we get into that mediation room, before we talk about property and access and custody and what we do with children, people just need to talk. They just need to sometimes vent the disappointment, the anger that they are experiencing as this relationship comes to an end. They just need to vent sometimes the fear that grips their very soul as they think about the future, their future, without this familiar framework that they sometimes have been engaged in or lived in for 30, 40 years. I remember once having one particular situation where one gentleman came into the room. I had to call what we call a caucus, because we meet with both parties, but we call a caucus and we meet with one person to make it let the process go forward. And you would not believe, this gentleman talked for literally 1 hour. All I was doing was like, I see. So that really got you angry. Okay. How did that make you feel? Alright, I hear that. Okay. I was going that way literally for an hour. And if I only attempted to come in, he was not listening. What does that say to you as a peer counselor? People need to talk. They need to vent. It is not about you putting the solutions on the table. And we often use the analogy. How many years? 2. 1 month. And it was only after I listened to this gentleman for literally an hour. Part of my mind I was thinking what the other party was thinking outside. You know, so I had to go out and tell you, let you know that I'm coming shortly. But he literally spoke for an hour before I could only say, Mr. Soros. And actually, I had to use that base of saying, listen, I listen to you. Can I share something with you now? And that's when I was allowed to come in. Thank God it was a successful mediation, but I'm sharing an experience with you to say that it's not only listening, but it's also giving persons the time to talk. Yeah? And somebody may catch me between a class, you're hustling to a class, we're not saying no, stop, don't miss your class, and don't go. But schedule some time. If you know you want to talk to somebody, make sure that hey, you have some time you can spend with that person. I also want to encourage you. Sister Huggins indicated to me that there is a framework in place. Remember to work along with those persons from your department. You have received some training, but they are the experts. When you come across a difficult situation that you think you need some further guidance on, work with them, make it further. I often say to my colleagues that this is not a trivial matter. And let me use local parlance because it's literally playing with people's lives. And I want to say that again. And this may seem trivial to you, but it may be of major consequence and concern to you. You're literally playing with people's lives. Do not take the task ahead of you lightly. And I want to say that based on what I have been told, that as peer counselors, I know that you have received excellent training and that you are well positioned to execute your task. And I want to charge you, execute that task and execute it well. Remember, it's not about you. It's not about your resume. It's not about walking around campus with a status badge on your chest that says, hey, I'm a peer counselor. It's not about the sense of self, value of self that you probably feel being placed in such an honored position. And yes, it will look good on your resume. No denying that. survive. Yes, yes, yes. But remember, the ultimate goal of this program is service to others. And I want to challenge each dear counselor within the hearing of my voice that your ability to be an effective peer counselor would be seriously eroded if your main purpose for being here is to benefit from what you can get from this group. And why would you be ineffective? You would be ineffective because those persons that you are attempting to assist will see right through you. If you approach any person, any student in this campus, without the genuine desire to serve, they will see right through you. I want to leave you with two quotes from Walter Luther and Emily Dixon, respectively. And it says, "There is no greater calling than to serve your fellow man. There is no greater contribution than to help the weak. There is no greater satisfaction than to have done it and to have done it well." And finally, if I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life be aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. I charge each peer counselor, do not live